Welcome to the first meeting of the Council of the Nerds. My name is McKinnon Lloyd.
And I'm Justin Holsclaw, and we're here today to answer your questions, nerds. The questions that you have deep in your soul, that I have in my heart. McKinnon, why in the world didn't Gandalf use the eagles? Why in the world didn't Gandalf use the eagles to fly to Mordor and destroy the ring?
I don't know. This question's kept me awake many of nights. He could have saved dozens of lives and made it, honestly, a much shorter story.
For real, though. If you think, in the different books, he had multiple opportunities. In The Hobbit, when he realized, I'm not entirely sure, did Gandalf know that Bilbo had the ring?
I think he did. I don't know if he had the ring come time to use the eagles, but that's a good point. In The Hobbit, he uses the eagles. They're battling the orcs. So what does Gandalf do? He sends his little moth, go get the eagles, and boom, they're saved. Easy.
And then later on, he saves all the other hobbits, Frodo and Sam and all the others, using the eagles.
Including himself earlier in the story, and uses them in the battle in The Hobbit of the Five Armies. So why didn't he just use the eagles?
I don't know, it would have saved tons of lives. But let's see what our research has said. So, to answer this question, we've come up with a logical sequence that we think is logical. And so we're going to start out with the history of the eagles. Okay?
So, with Lord of the Rings, a lot of the time, something is as powerful as it is old. And the eagles are as old as dirt. So Lord of the Rings is an amazing story because of how big the world is. And Tolkien actually wrote a book called The Silmarillion that has basically the Bible of Lord of the Rings.
It's the Old Testament. It's really, really, really dry.
But educational. And so essentially there's a god of that world who made demigods who, just like in most stories, are incredibly powerful. And two of them in particular decided they wanted to make eagles. And these eagles were messengers and spies, and they weren't just birds, they were intelligent. In The Hobbit, we find out that the eagles have leadership, they can talk, they're just as intelligent as anyone else, and they're just as old as Gandalf. And if you know how as powerful Gandalf is, you can imagine how powerful the eagles are.
Gandalf was one of the original beings that was also created by these demigods. And have you ever wondered why he refused the ring? When Frodo offers it to him in the Shire, he says, "Don't touch me, Frodo." That's my Gandalf accent. I don't know if it's an accent. But he absolutely refuses to take the ring. And that's because the ring has special properties to it that Sauron put into it. Now, Sauron, when he created the ring, he meant it to augment the power of the user. Whoever was wearing it or using it at the time had augmented power. But it had a side effect. And that side effect was that it corrupted whoever used it. And for that reason, Gandalf, who's an incredibly powerful being, didn't want to take the ring. Galadriel also says the same thing. When Frodo offers her the ring, she says that she would become powerful and dark, a queen like no one had ever seen. And so we kind of see the reasoning as to why the eagles wouldn't want to take that. You wouldn't want big frickin' eagles. How big were they?
They're half the size of a football field. Actually, 10 yards further. They're 60 yards in wingspan.
Massive eagles. So would you really want one of these things who are super intelligent and then are massive, I believe they have magic, don't they, of some sort?
Yeah, they can see through walls, they can see far distances, but funny enough, they can't see into Mordor.
Okay.
But they're powerful. Now, exactly how the ring would fit onto a talon, I'm not sure, but the ring's magical. I'm sure he can figure out a way.
Now, Tolkien also said, he gave another reason for not using the eagles, and he said, "The eagles are dangerous machine. I have used them sparingly, and that is the absolute limit of their credibility or usefulness." So, we kind of see that Tolkien himself didn't plan for the eagles to play a bigger role in this story. And there's other reasons, too, and McKinnon's got a few more of those.
Yeah, and to go off that, essentially, it'd just be bad storytelling if you use the eagles to fly them there. But going off of the power, the eagles would just be just as evil as Saruman in the story if they had the ring. And that's why a hobbit uses the ring to get to Middle-earth, because hobbits are pretty much, no pun intended, because I'm short myself, low man on the totem pole there. They have absolutely no power. And so they can have the ring for a long time without being corrupted because the ring has nothing to enhance them as far as power goes.
Yeah, they're just the weakest beings of Middle-earth, so they're the perfect host to carry it. But, you know, Gandalf also has a special fondness for them, so that's probably another reason.
Yeah, and so really what it boils down to is that the Eagles, as far as the lore goes, the Eagles couldn't be used because it'd just be too dangerous. If they were able to be corrupted just like a lot of other people, you know, like we have Gollum, we have the people who originally could have destroyed the ring getting corrupted. If they would have been corrupted and used the ring, it would have been real bad. But along with that, it would just also be a bad story. The story would be, you know, I guess it does take 200 pages to get to the ring, the Council of the Ring, of the Fellowship. But after that, it would pretty much be over because they would just fly, and Gandalf could just scream down, "Drop the ring, Frodo!" Story would be over.
And one other big point, too, that we kind of thought of was just like, how in the world would you hide a giant eagle flying into Mordor? And if they can't fly into it, or rather they can't see into it because it's blocked, as McKinnon said in the lore, there's got to be some special properties about Mordor that kind of prevent the eagles from interfering there. And so we can kind of see that Sauron has like kind of planned for that. Although in the books we also learned that like Sauron didn't really plan for anyone to really want to destroy the ring. He thought they'd be corrupted. And that's why the hobbits were the perfect weapon.
Exactly. They snuck right in, didn't even know what was going on until it was too late. And that's actually a good point to show why the eagles are made at the end, because once the ring was destroyed, then we see the eagles showing up. Because there's no danger, they don't have to worry about getting caught because the enemy's already gone, and they can fly off into the sunset and have a little, you know, dance party at the end for the victory.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up our video. And we are very grateful for you spending your time watching this video with us. Again, I'm Justin Holsclaw.
And I'm McKinnon Lloyd, and this is the Council of the Nerds. Alright, well thanks for watching our first video of the Council of the Nerds. Like we said at the beginning, we're a new channel, so if you have any material you'd like us to talk about, please leave it in the comments below. You know, we'll talk about any movie or book fan theories that you have, or any questions that just keep you up at night. We can talk about any video games that you'd like us to review, or any new technology out there. Basically anything that makes the heart of a nerd keep going. We can talk about it, so please leave comments below.
Next week, we are going to be talking about what happened to the Flood in Halo 1, 2, 3, and then where did they go in between Halo 3 and 4? They've just kind of disappeared off the map. I'm a huge Halo fan, and I will be talking all about that next week, and you can join us here. We might have a guest star next week, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. Keep your eye out for more videos and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you.
Later.